All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can I be heard? I hope so. Try this one more time because I see this all the time. And guys, let's quit this stuff, okay? It's costing you money, it's making you frustrated, and you don't even know what's going on sometimes. So, here we go. How to kill your plants 101. If you put down fresh sod and you want it to die, put weed and feed on it. If you put down fresh sod and you don't want it to establish real well, put a pre-emergent on it. And if you really want to screw it up even faster, do both. Okay? Or don't water it. That's a good way to kill it, especially in the summertime. How to kill your plants 101. A lot of people are in new developments, or you got new landscapes, doesn't really matter. And you know, we all want a beautiful lawn, landscape, everything, but one of the biggest things out here in our industry is weed free, right? If I made a nickel for however many times someone told me about weeds, I would not be making videos or doing nothing. I would be out there with some fresh plants enjoying a mountain view because I'd be rich by now. Weeds are an overarching part of our industry, and it is just attacked every day. Like if you have weeds, somehow you're a bad person or something. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm going a little off because I see this all the time, and your lawn care guy and your landscaper are often either doing something that you don't know about, or you asked them to do and didn't know the consequences. Okay, say they go by and they're spraying Roundup, typically any kind of herbicide, on the cracks in the joints of the driveways, sidewalks. Well, you get drift, right? And then people will send me pictures like, AJ, why is my lawn dying? And I'm like, well, look, it's right at the cracks on your sidewalk. It is obviously an herbicide deal. And then if you look around cracks and it goes a little further, right? Because in that moment that person sprayed it, they had drift and it went further into the lawn. Scary, scary. Or what we see happen is, say you spray down an area with a bunch of rocks, and maybe you do it real heavy, thinking you're going to kill more weeds. This doesn't really work that way. But what can happen is, say you water that area if you have irrigation in your rocks for your foundation, or it rains. All that stuff comes out, and it is going to kill a large portion of something around it, because now all that stuff just leached out into a larger area. Or you tell your lawn care guy, hey, I don't want weeds around my trees. And, we all know, let's face it, time is money, money is time, whatever. And they're trying to do this stuff the quickest way possible, because going through and turning flower beds and pulling the weeds is a time-consuming effort, right? So they spray around the tree with an herbicide, and you're like, man, why does my tree look like crap? Well, you just sprayed an herbicide around your tree, okay? And I know I have a lot of unpopular opinions, but I'm out here seeing this stuff every day, and then people are like, I don't know why this happened, AJ. And I'm like, well, did you spray some herbicide around your brand new tree or in your flower beds and now everything's dying? Because the other part of it is, say you have an older established flower bed and an older established tree. These chemicals are hormone disruptors, okay? So when you have those trees that have all the little tiny trees coming up under it, and you're like, oh, I hate this stuff. Where did this come from? I bet you anything that it came from using an herbicide product around your tree, and now you have a bunch of little baby trees because it was a hormone response. Because what happened was the tree is signaling like, oh shit, something's trying to kill me. I need to work harder to live, right? And that's kind of what happened. And now you got all these little tiny shoots coming up from the ground, and there ain't no way to get rid of it. Not that I've heard, never seen it. Talked to a few of the top dog arborists in our whole Houston area, and they're like, when you got that going on, it's definitely herbicide damage, and you better embrace it or take out the whole freaking tree. And I don't want to encourage anybody to take out the whole freaking tree. Okay? Yo, what's up? How you doing this morning, Rick? Thank you for popping in, Javier. I know you do some landscaping. and lawn care. So please, if someone asks you to spray a flower bed with some herbicide to kill the weeds, I know you want to make people happy. We want to make money, but there is a good way to do things and there is a bad way to do things. And anybody out there spraying Roundup products on their flower beds, that's a bad practice. Okay. Good morning, Lisa. How you doing? And I just want to throw this out there. I want to keep throwing it out there because no matter how long I've been in this lawn care industry for 17 years, you roll up to houses and people are like, I don't do this and I don't do that. And I'm like, why are those little plants yellow around that tree? I know why they're yellow. They died from an herbicide, okay? Like, herbicide damage and death is a very simple, easy to spot thing, especially if you've been doing it long enough. And again, I will say, like, sometimes the homeowner doesn't realize that the lawn care guy is doing this. They just told the lawn care guy, take care of these weeds. Lawn care guy is like, I can't take all day pulling every weed. I'm going to spray it with an herbicide. I understand where they're coming from. But instead, like, you know, have the mulch bed turned a couple times a year, because nobody does that either. And then it cakes all up with a whole fungal thing, and then the soil can't breathe, and then you're like, why are my bushes dying? And I'm like, well, it looks to me by all these layers you've put down mulch like 4 years in a row and never turned this mulch. Okay, I throw this all out here because people think like I'm love, peace, chicken grease and thinking about smoking pot, and I'm like, yo, I'm really not. I'm thinking about how to save your plants. Okay, thinking about how to save your grass. I'm thinking about how to make your landscape last through this heat, through this misery, through all our freaky weather, right? From the snow, the rain, the sun. And by using these bad practices, you drastically reduce the resilience of your lawn and landscape. So then what happens? Later on, you have to pay more money to replace the stuff, right? By saving a few bucks now. 9 times out of 10, the quick fix ain't worth it. So be careful what you ask your lawn care guy to do and how you ask him to do it. Because the average person, and no, I'm really trying to hate on them, but, you know, they're going to bust out that Ranger Pro. All right? Squirt, squirt. Oh, it's dead. Now you see a yellow plant and you're happy. And I'm like, man, you could injure that beautiful little oak tree that's been struggling. You're going to injure those beautiful little bushes that you just put in. You know, sometimes people pay thousands and thousands of dollars to put in a landscape only to spray the flower bed with a herbicide. That's nuts. So, if you want to know how to kill your plants, just use a lot of weed and feed and herbicides around it. Sometimes it's a quick death, sometimes it's slow death, but it'll work. All right? Last but not least, and a lot of people don't know this, even a lot of lawn care guys don't know to recommend this, okay, but turn that flower bed more frequently. You don't always have to re-mulch it, and if you do re-mulch it, are they just throwing mulch on top, right? Or did they turn everything a little bit, like till it just a little bit? You don't have to get crazy, get a big old tiller out there, but you have to really break up that top layer versus just putting layers and layers and layers of mulch. You go around a lot of these neighborhoods, especially with the small trees, it's easy to point out, and they just got these big fat mounds, right? This volcano mulch thing, and you can go peel back layers. Sometimes I've peeled them back, and you got like a layer of black, brown, red, black, you know, just a 5-layer cake in there that's never been turned. And then people are like, man, my tree's not doing that great. I don't know why. And I'm like, well, it can't breathe, dude. You know, that tree ain't into suffocation. It needs oxygen just like you and me. So, little lawn care tidbits, 101. If you want to kill it, spray it with some Roundup or Ranger Pro. If you want it to live, find an alternative to taking care of that flower bed versus the quick, easy way, because it don't work out. Y'all have a super groovy day. I'm about to support soil biology out here, spraying some hippie juice and letting it loose. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you found any of this helpful, share it with your friend, even though they might not want to hear it. Peace.